Today is Wednesday. Wednesday is the day that we always do these calls. Wednesday is a bit of a celebration day for me as well, because we have winners on a Wednesday every single week. In fact, this week, we had Gemma Edens on Winners on a Wednesday. Is Gemma on the call right now? Gemma, just give us just a little bit of insight. What have you been up to? What deals have you been getting? I know you've been keeping some things a little bit on the low, but now it's all out there. So what's been happening?
Yeah, so obviously I'll touch on the actual interview that I got made redundant in January. Well, I didn't actually get made redundant. My contract ended. So I was working for a company for 5 years. And then with the corona and things like that, I lost my job at the back end of January. And since then, I've gone on to sell 5 deals, totaling about 25,000. And got a rent-to-rent service accommodation, which goes live in a week and a half. That's also led on to 2 other service accommodation units, rent-to-rent with the same landlord. And yeah, it's going crazy. I sold a deal actually yesterday, so it's just crazy. I pick up the keys tomorrow for another property. But yeah, it's busy. It's I touch on how I got those deals on the Winners on a Wednesday interview. And yeah, I'm quite overwhelmed, if I'm honest.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, listen, we applaud you, and also not just your hard work and your results within property, but also your buzzing, booming personality and the fact that you share so openly, you always contribute. And I think as well, within this mastermind, this isn't about just joining just to get. Yeah, for sure, you're going to get a lot of information, you're going to get a lot of value. But one of the things I love about Gemma, and also lots of other members on the community, is that people come on the calls and these sessions, not just to get, but also to give. You know, to inspire people, to share what they're doing, to help. And I know you've always, been really, really, really helpful to a lot of newbies that are just getting started. You've kind of taken people under your wing. You've shared, as you've been a few steps ahead. Go ahead, Ben.
Hello, hi, Sam. So I want to congratulate Gemma first of all. Since I've joined about a month ago, I follow her story and she's done amazing work. And I think she's a true example of what people can do. Second of all, I did see all of your videos when you're giving away your Range Rover. I know probably a lot of people spoke about it. When you're giving away your house, and I don't know, big thumbs up on you, and hopefully you're going to do it soon again. Just let me know where and I'll be there. The other thing is I was going to add is last week I had a really, really challenging week for myself. So I was supposed to have 2 deals that were going to be sold. And if you remember, I'm not sure if you remember, I also had the development land, which I was interested into buying on auction. Now, last week it was on bidding on auction. And what happened is, for us to work, we should have bought it with the maximum of £200,000. Now, that's like the top of what we could buy it for, so we can get a decent return on it.
Yeah.
That also fell through. The property was bought with 260,000. So somebody really got emotional in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it went from 200,000 all the way to 260 from nothing. So he literally bid 60,000 more, and he bought the property, the land. So that was awful. The other two deals I had, they also fell through.
Yeah.
And it was a really challenging week for myself. Now, this week was, I think, the total opposite of last week. Okay. I've literally come home probably about half an hour ago. I've done a total afternoon full of viewings. And at the end of it, I met a guy who's been in business for the last 10 years. And we're actually, discussing to first buy a property. And he's actually got development land in the same area where I'm looking to buy the property and obviously source the deal, because it's not for myself. And the only thing I wanted to say is just a shout out to all the people who are probably struggling at the moment, who are probably not like doing as well as Gemma is doing or other people. And I mean, if you keep going at it, just like you said, good things will come. And yeah. I wanted to do this last week, but I was like, you know what, I got to have a comeback story so people can actually be inspired to keep going at it, because Since I've joined, I spoke to quite a few, not a lot of people, but a few people who are struggling, who are trying to give up, and I'm trying to keep their moral up. I'm, trying to be their accountability partners and WhatsApping them and see how you're doing, what you've done this week. Some of them, they said, you know what, I've done nothing this week, especially during the whole like 3 or 4 days during the whole Easter thing. You could have done a lot of research during the entire, but also spend time with your family. A lot of people haven't done anything. They haven't anything planned for this week. And I know it's hard. It's not easy. We hear all these success stories from all the students and all the people in the community, but it's not as easy as people think. It's not as easy as people think. And I know it's hard. And I just want to give a shout out to everybody who's doing it. And if you keep going, you'll definitely get it. There's no rocket science. There's no magic trick to do it. And if you keep going to what Samuel does, I'm sure everybody will get to it.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I think, listen, persistence is really important with anything. If it was just a case of, I'll just have a little go and try to figure it out and do a few viewings, and then, 3 days later, suddenly I've made 20 grand. And if that was the case, then every single person on the planet would be doing it. Everyone would be an entrepreneur. Everyone would be a millionaire. And of course, it takes determination. It takes grit. And the interesting thing is that, people say to me, is being an entrepreneur or a property investor, is it easy or is it hard? It's like, well, everything is hard. Having a job is hard. Being overweight is hard, and being slim is hard. Being rich is hard, but being poor is hard. Everything's relative. But if you treat your business like you treat a job, and that you might think I'm going to say, if you treat your business like you treat a job, you're not going to succeed because you need to work much harder in your business than you would in a job. No, disagree. I've only had a job once. I worked as an estate agent for Bairstow Eves countrywide. I did it for about 3 or 4 months. Oh my goodness. I've never worked so hard. Like, they wanted blood. And while I was working for countrywide estates, I was just thinking, imagine if I worked this hard on my own business. But people don't do that because they've got no one behind them telling them they have to. They just think, it's my own business. And anyone that says, I'm really struggling, I've been doing this for a month and I've not got any results, I'll say, well, how many properties have you viewed? How many offers have you put forward? How many hours have you spent actually working on the business? Not scrolling Rightmove and having cups of teas with your friends. How if you were your own employee, if you were employed by yourself, would you fire yourself or would you keep yourself? Would you be like, they're a good worker? Because a lot of us, if we're honest, if we worked for ourselves, which we do, right? You'd be like, okay, you'd be every week. You'd be like, right. So what have you done this week? How many viewings have you booked? How many? And you'd be like, I had 3 viewings and one of them cancelled, and one of them. But you'd be like, what? Are you kidding me? Are you serious? So sometimes you just need to have an appointment with yourself every week, and act like you work for yourself. You know why? Because you do.
I don't know, a lot's happening. So during Easter, I've been, because often I go through the strategy to use Rightmove. So during Easter, I thought the landlords, maybe they were more relaxed. So I called direct landlords. It was quite good. So tomorrow I'm going to see a landlord. He wants to sell a portfolio of 100 properties because he wants to invest in a really big business. It's got nothing to do with property. So he needs to really release some cash. And then I got an old friend. He's got like an estate agent north. So I'm going to go to see him on the 13th. He needs to source some properties he's got a small estate agent, but he needs to source some property for some football players, like for some of the players there. So he asked me to help him. So yeah.
Fantastic. That's really, really, really good stuff. Exciting news. So
we'll see.
Top tips for building your investor list, Graziella, because I know you've sold a lot of deals.
Really think about small stuff because people get overwhelmed. Oh my God, like, how do I get big numbers? Think small. Think one, your goal is to get one every night. So generally at night, I go in all the forums or in the morning before going to work, talk to people, and then try to approach them. Okay, and then when you engage with someone, say, in private message, can I talk to you later? Can I have your email? Can we take a Zoom call? So as far you do, just think one a day in a month is 30 by 12 months you got pretty much 300 investors.
Yeah.
So I try to, my goal is still is 3 people, sometimes 5 people, like I got their email, their consent to get my deals every day. And then it gets like in a year, 1,000. Small.
Another really interesting point as well on the back of what Graziella said is that you only need one good investor to go get a deal. You know, it's not necessarily about how wide your investor list is. Sometimes it's about how deep it is. If you've got a rich list, I don't mean rich in terms of financial, I'm just talking like a really good quality list. You might only have 20 or 30, but you can be selling consistently, selling a deal a month. So yeah, really, really, really good point. Very inspiring as always. David, what is happening, bro?
Samuel, just literally this second, just after selling the deal for £3,000.
Amazing.
So, yeah, and also today was actually a brilliant day. So we just sold the deal there now for £3,000. I've met an investor today, which has given me £40,000, and I've also got an off-market property today as well from an agent, which I'm looking at tomorrow. So everything just went good today.
Fantastic. Also as well, really good to see Joe Nicole. Great to see you as always. Joe Nicole is a proper legend. He's been with us now for a very long time. Joe, how's things going, bro?
Okay, mate. Everything's well.
Good. What are you working on at the moment?
I'm working on rent to rent. I've found a deal now in Bradford. I was looking in Leeds, but couldn't find one. And then I found one in Bradford. That's looking good. It's 200%. So we're taking it on. Yeah.
Sandra, I was waiting for you to say something. It's so funny because people message me on Instagram like, "Oh, I just got a deal, or I just sold, or I just got a rent." And I always say, "Share it on Wednesday night," and then I see them sheepishly on the call, not sure what to say. Sandra, so good to see you. What's happening?
Okay, so I picked the keys up to Rent to Rent HMO in East London on the 1st of April, 6th bed.
So while we were talking about London rent to rents and all that kind of stuff, you were just quietly there thinking, "Well, that's incredible! Congratulations! That's brilliant news. How much is that expected to be making you every month?"
Okay, so paying the landlord $2,800 per month. Gross is $3,850. The rental for each room is between the minimum is $650 per room.
Brilliant.
So I could charge $700 up to $700 per room.
Crazy.
Thank you, the deal.
So how much are you expected after maintenance, voids? How much are you hoping to make every month? Cash flow.
Hoping, 700.
Great.
700.
That's really, really good. Well, Sandra, massive congrats. Mushtaq, I know Mushtaq's got a deal recently as well, which is absolutely fabulous. How's that going, Mushtaq?
Hey, it's going good, to be honest. Yeah, better than I thought. I've got more opportunities as well, which I didn't really think I'd fall into this rent to rent. I was more towards deal selling, but what can I say? Opportunity, when it comes, you got to take it by its throat. So yeah, it's going good. I've got another 9-bedroom in Edgware as well that I'm looking at, but I need to put in an ensuite, basically in a kitchen to make a self-contained studio kind of thing. But it's on top of a pub, so it's really good location. So I'm just weighing up the builders now, so to see how much that's going to cost me. But it's very good cash flow on that one if it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, good. And we need to meet as well. I'd love to come around one of those. So
definitely.
Yeah, drop me a message on Instagram. That would be amazing.